Hey everyone, I'm Stefan. This is Graham.
Hi.
This is Travis.
Hello.
And we are Three Different Ones. Last year we compiled a list of albums we think are interesting and now talk about them. Today we're talking about Larks, Tongues, and Aspic, King Crimson's fifth album from '73. We're going to go through each track on the listing and then give our overall scores for the album at the end. I'd heard a little of this band. Wanted to do just a little bit of back reading on them, just so I could know some of the names, and that was a little more difficult than I thought it was going to be. Getting ready, because this is like, Graham, I believe this came off your portion of our list. Is that right?
Yep.
Okay, yeah. And this is it's like their third lineup of people in terms of the personnel on this.
Yeah, so Robert Fripp is like the founding member of King Crimson. He's the guitar player, but other than him, like I think everybody else is totally new.
Okay.
Currently, or on this album.
Yeah, on this album.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so new singer, new bass player, new drummer. The drummer is Bill Bruford, who played with Yes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and he
Yes.
right.
Yes.
And he quit Yes and thought he could I don't know, just express himself more adequately by joining the other prog rock giant King Crimson. That King Crimson was a little more experimental and jazzy.
Yeah.
Even though Yes is incredibly, complex and experimental to me, it kind of surprises me that somebody would want to leave. But
me too.
Yeah,
that's really surprising.
yeah. I mean, Yes kind of eventually got a little more. I guess they kind of went through like a poppy phase, but
Yeah.
But at this point, they were kind of at their, I don't know,
peak.
Yeah,
Proggiest.
Yeah, they had just done Close to the Edge.
Was Bruford on that?
Yes. Yes.
Sick.
And to leave after that,
right?
Seems a little. Maybe he was just like, we can't top this.
Yeah, we've peaked on to new things.
But anyway, the lineup is Fripp, and then he brought in a violin player. Or violin and viola. I don't really know the difference.
Viola is smaller, I think, has a little more of a higher pitch.
Okay. New bass player, the aforementioned drummer, Bill Bruford. And then a percussionist. So there's a drummer and a percussionist.
Okay.
Okay, and let me see, but I'm trying to find the name of the singer here.
John Wetton, isn't it?
Okay. He was also the bass player. So bassist and vocalist John Wetton. Yeah, you're right.
Okay.
And the violinist also plays keyboards.
God.
So yeah, I was a bit confused about lineup. Like King Crimson is a band that I kind of I really only got into them this year. Like I've always known about them, knew their first album a little bit, but like being a prog rock fan, I always felt like I kind of missed out on King Crimson. Like I never got into them as much as like Yes or Rush, Gentle Giant, Genesis.
Well, their music wasn't on many streaming platforms until recently, right?
I think that's true as well. Yeah,
just kind of not as accessible.
Right. And yeah, that's true. I feel like aside from that first album and maybe an album of theirs called Red,
Mm-hmm.
like it's kind of hard to know where to start with them.
Yeah.
Red is it the follow up to this or
No, that
two
was
from this?
I want to say Red came out. Okay, Red came out in '74,
Okay,
which is the year after this, but I think they got one album in between. There's one
gotcha.
called Starless and Bible Black in between.
Have you listened to that?
Yes, yes.
Gotcha.
And the thing about them is their sound kind of always changed, like like a lot of prog rock bands, but like these guys really went through some different periods.
You think
Um,
that's due to complete lineup changes?
yeah,
I'm sure.
that's part of it for sure. I think Robert Fripp was always kind of wanting to try something new.
Right.
Um,
Some Dave Mustaine syndrome.
I guess so. But in this case, it's weird to have so many different like vocalists over the years.
True.
That's kind of hard to have a consistent sound when you're
Right.
changing that up
Yeah.
so often.
Like a complete identity death every time.
Yeah. But this is an album that I only really got into this year, and I was pumped to do it for 1973. I mean, it's an amazing year for music. 73. I could have gone a number of different directions, but I was like, I'm gonna pick this weird ass album.
Is this your favorite
Favorite
King Crimson?
It's
Currently?
either my favorite or second favorite.
Second two.
Second to In the Court of the Crimson
Gotcha.
King. That one I would definitely recommend as the starting point for anybody getting into them. But yeah, this one's probably my second favorite. But yeah, what's y'all's experience with King Crimson?
First time listening to them.
Yeah.
And first album and really first songs, honestly. I was a stone cold newbie going into this album.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is cool. I'd listened to In the Court of the Crimson King and Red. I've listened to those start to finish. And the only thing I think I've listened to off of this was Larks, Tongues, and Aspic Part 2, because I think you'd sent it to me a couple months ago and was like, dude, check this out.
Yeah.
I think that's really all I'd heard from it.
Yeah. Fair enough. Let's
this album's out of its damn mind, by the way.
It is.
Let's go ahead and just
in a great way.
Yeah.
In a great way.
Oh my gosh.
I think I read a quote from the drummer saying the songs were hell to make given the deliberate lack of structure.
Yeah.
It's funny though, like coming off of Lateralis, like how could you even call that prog when this is also prog rock? Like, how could you even put those in the same genre?
Yeah, this one,
especially with this opening track. Oh my gosh, dude!
Wow,
it's like classical music, kind of.
I think that was one of the influences, wasn't it?
For sure,
of a million.
For sure,
dude. It's just crazy. Like, it's bonkers. I feel like I wrote almost like an entire paper on the first song.
I know, man.
And that's what's so great about this kind of stuff is like, if it's going to be long, at least make it, very complex with many milestones and highlights in it, I think. Like, there's so many parts to this song.
It's like infinitely replayable. Like,
yeah, dude, how do you play this live? Like, how do you remember where you're at?
Yeah.
Jeez.
That's something I don't know how they approached this on tour. Like, if they were able to do the entire thing live, or if they just kind of took excerpts and played it, because a lot of bands will do that when they have
Right.
these crazy songs. But yeah, this thing. So we're talking about Larks, Tongues, and Aspic Part 1,
Yeah.
which is the 13-minute start to the album.
Yep.
It's the album's bookended with this, and then
Part 2.
Larks, Tongues, and Aspic Part 2 at the end. This one, though, can be divided into. I think they say that this one's divided into 5 parts, because like on the Wikipedia, that's how they've got it divided up.
Yeah.
And they have different writers attributed to different parts. Like, I'm Fripp was on all of them, but like, part 2 Fripp only wrote, and then like part 1 the whole band was on. It's crazy, but what did y'all think of this?
I loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I really, God, I just, oh my God.
It's so much to digest.
It's a
just
lot
like
to take in, man.
So much.
I felt almost like concussed at the end of the first song, almost. Like,
Yeah.
I just like, I had to like pause and like go outside for a few minutes, because it was like, do I like, because I literally I couldn't write anything, because it
Yeah,
was just like
seriously.
it was shifting too fast, and it was just all over the place, and there was so many different components to it. I'll just spoil it off the bat. I really enjoyed listening to this album. This thing was a pain in the ass to analyze.
For sure.
This might have been the most challenging album to get through that I've done for the show.
Yeah.
It's
Uh,
yeah, it's funny though, because like typically I feel like anytime you hit something that's this complex, it's like, cool, I'm glad I listened to that one time. Like, I don't know. But this for me was like, damn, I would love to go re-listen to this song.
Yep.
Like, I enjoyed it, and it's easy for these bands to like lose a sense of groove, I guess, that are this technical, but this has it.
yeah.
It I mean, it moves away from it in parts, but it's like it kind of ebbs and flows, and I love that.
Yeah, they're
Just
phenomenal players.
and so weirdly heavy in parts, which I love. Like, just heavy. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah. It becomes
I love that. I
yeah.
loved that.
It's like the 3-minute 45-second mark. It becomes like a full on rock song.
Yeah.
Heavy jam.
Just out of nowhere.
Is it like a finger piano or I don't even know what you'd call that thing. It's like a little wood thing with like metal spring things that you press with your fingers, and it kind of looks like an acoustic guitar, like chamber. Is that what that thing is at the beginning? Like, sounds like that, and some bells or something.
I'm trying to figure out which instrument you're talking about. There are a lot of like bells. I'm pretty sure the percussionist.
Yeah, Jamie Weir, I think.
Yeah.
He's got like he had quite the collection in studio, it would seem.
Right. I'm pretty sure that's him doing his thing, and like
he had a thumb piano. He had that in the credits, so yeah, he might have had that. But yeah, he's got chimes, bells, shakers, rattles. I mean, a saw. I mean, he's got everything.
Yeah, there was a musical saw.
Yeah.
Wow.
Listed in his arsenal. I mean, the main thing I remember from the beginning is that violin part.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That kind of pulls you out of the I don't know, because it just kind of starts off just kind of almost like kind of ambient.
Yeah.
Like
Oh, yeah.
it's not really like a, you know, there's not like a chord progression or whatever. It's just like these little kind of noises. Like Travis, you know, the Close to the Edge Yes album.
Oh,
Like it
yeah.
reminds me a lot of that, where it's just
Yeah.
kind of like it just kind of fades in, and it's like okay, and it like I feel like it's like almost 2 minutes of just kind of like kind of unstructured but
Yeah.
interesting sounds. But then this violin thing comes in and kind of gives it that like momentum.
Pulls it
Yeah.
together.
Yeah, yeah. And you know, this podcast, you know, we don't really delve into like you know, the technical side of music, and I mean a lot of that's because we don't have that like background. Like I play, Travis plays, and you know, Stefan, you've played some guitar in the past, but I feel like I would need like a music theory degree to like
Yeah.
to really adequately describe this, because it is like a symphony or something.
Yeah.
But you know, I think the best we can do is, you know, give our reactions to it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, this song. I can't remember if it was this song or not, but there's a part in one of these songs, and I'm pretty sure it's this, but it's like something pans across, and then like as it pans across and out, like a different instrument pans from where it panned out and in, and it was the coolest transition. Like
Yeah.
it was so smooth. I was like, oh my gosh, that was so sick. I can't remember what it was though.
Dude,
I think it was in this though. Maybe guitar or something. Like something panned out, and then his guitar just slid right in from where it like slid off to. So cool.
man, the amount of like detail and just like
Oh yeah.
painstaking like studio work that this must have taken, it's just mind blowing. Like but yeah, the kind of effects you're talking about, it's like listening to like a symphony, but like, you know, with kind of that psychedelic prog rock thing where it's like you get those crazy effects that just kind of like, you know, blow your mind.
Yep.
Like there's
absolutely.
so many sounds on this where I'm like, I've never heard anything like that.
Yep.
There's like a crazy guitar bit before that like bass funk groove rolls in that's just like so much dissonance, just a nasty guitar piece.
Yes, I know what you're talking about.
And
There's
then
like
yeah,
a break, and he just plays like the ugliest riff.
Yeah, exactly. And then once that bass groove rolls in, it's like there's these weird licks that go over it and some wild percussion.
Yeah.
And then it's like everything meets together in this like nasty groove. And it's like then the bass and the guitar are like riffing together, like the same thing. I don't know, man. I just loved it. Is there like a wah on the bass too? Like kind of mid, late song? I don't know.
I know what you're talking about, and it reminds me a lot of a Yes song. Like there aren't a ton of times where I'm like, you know, this sounds like somebody else, but there is this part where it's like a big fat, you know, huge bass sound. And yeah, it's very it sounds like a wah or some kind of like envelope filter or something. Just like man, I mean I was thinking about this while listening to it, but it's just like, man, how are we even gonna talk about this? Like, it's something to be experienced for sure.
Yep.
Beautiful violin solo too in there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
One of my favorite parts of the album, honestly.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. I I was gonna ask, like, do y'all have a favorite part from this song? Because I feel like I have one or two that I could kind of pin down and say were my
It's a
favorites.
For me, it's a tie between David Cross's violin and Jamie Muir's use of bird calls throughout. Just
Yeah,
because of the bird calls, just because of like the complete like what the hell nature of it. And I thought that Cross's violin playing was gorgeous. I
Yeah,
thought great. Yeah, that's
that violin solo, and then the part where everything comes together in that nasty groove. Just
yep,
oh my gosh,
yep.
amazing. Yeah, I don't even know how you really talk about this song.
I
Honestly,
loved it. I
I
mean,
did too. I'm gonna have to go listen to it again.
yep.
you know, I don't think I even realized that the bird calls were not like samples or something, but it makes total sense that yeah, I guess that's the percussionist like doing those noises. I don't know if that means he's like making those sounds like with
I
his
like to think it is.
yeah.
Yeah. You can learn how to do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
That's something I didn't really think about. I think maybe I mean that not my um well, I'll just try to make it brief, but I think the ending is one of my favorite parts, like one of the coolest riffs I've heard. I It sounds like a kind of sounds like an octave pedal or something, that guitar riff at the end, and it's just very kind of sinister sounding. And it's not long, the outro riff I'm talking about. It just kind of maybe the last minute of the song, but I don't know, that's a favorite moment for sure. Um, it's it's something to be experienced. just
Mm-hmm.
just go listen to it. That's what I'll say.
Yeah.
Um, any more on this track?
Mm-mm.
Because
Hello?
oh yeah. um, well, after this one, we get kind of more structured songs.
Yep.
Like Book of Saturday is less than 3 minutes long.
Yeah.
What did y'all think about this one? This is the first one that actually has vocals on it.
I like John Wetton's voice.
Yeah.
So I'll just start with that. I I like it. It was very unexpected. And it was, I mean, the fact that it was just kind of I don't know. It's just a nice sounding song. I
Right.
I
Right.
feel like maybe I was missing something listening to it. 'Cause I was like, is this it? Is this?
Right.
Not analyzing this thing enough.
Yeah. After the 13-minute, you know, path through to a different dimension. I mean, Book of Saturday. It was very strange listening to such a. I mean, I don't want to say just like a normal sounding song because that kind of sounds like a dig at it because I did like it, but it was just like it was so different that after hearing the 13-minute insanity, it kind of affected how I was thinking about it,
Yeah.
which speaks
Yeah.
very well of Larks Tongues Part One.
Sure. Sure.
I got
Yeah.
a question for you, Graham.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The boys in the band lyric, any reference to Gentle Giant?
I thought about that too.
It's
Um,
like it's such an odd phrase to just randomly come up.
I know.
Boys in the band. I'm like, hmm. Maybe an ode. Are
A
y'all there?
dig. Oh yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
Sorry.
A dig at another prog rock
Just
contemporary.
an ode to Gentle Giant. I don't know.
Yeah. Um, are
Because
we?
they're
Is the recording still going? Because I just heard a noise.
yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Um. Yeah, I really hope that's a Gentle Giant reference, or like a nod, because
Yep, that's what I'm thinking.
those bands had to have respected each other. Like,
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I mean, that they were kind of the only ones like of their caliber. Like, Gentle Giant, King Crimson, and Yes. And there were probably a few others. I mean,
So Octopus was what, 72, and this is 73.
yes.
So it could be.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It
I
could very well be.
I hope so. I'll have to. I want to Google that later. See if that.
Um, so what I mentioned in the first song, talking about that vocal pan out to a guitar sliding in, it's in this song. There's a part where like the vocal
Oh.
pans left and then it like tapers off, and then it's like
Mm,
the sound that comes back in from where it left is guitar, and it just rips back in, and I loved that. Like, such a cool effect.
that's
I'll see if I
yeah.
can find it, because I just remember going, man, that was awesome.
So it's in Book of Saturday.
Yeah, it's in Book of
Okay.
Saturday. It is. Let me see here. I'll tell you. Give me 1 second here. Let's see. Y'all can continue talking. I'm trying to find it.
Yeah, this
It has weird elements to it. When they bring
for
in
sure.
the pianette and the little violin, I mean, it definitely has like the more eccentric elements to it. But yeah, I think just by comparison, it in my mind it seems more a little more conventional.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
But
yeah.
I think it's a
Coming off of that,
yeah,
absolutely.
it's a gorgeous melody, and I like listening to it.
Yeah, I mean,
It's a pretty track.
you could play it
Yeah.
on the radio. You know.
Yeah,
Beautiful strings.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. And the guitar playing's nice.
Yeah,
it is.
nice guitar tone too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Oh
buttery
yeah.
smooth.
Dude, I
um,
cannot believe you just said that. In Exiles,
yeah,
I put buttery smooth.
really.
Yep, verbatim.
I feel like I kind of group Book of Saturday and Exiles together. Like they kind of have a similar vibe to me. Like they're
Okay.
both a little bit ballady,
Okay. Yeah, I can see
for
that.
lack of a better term, ballady.
Some
Yeah.
odd sounds in the intro of Exiles.
But
Yeah.
Real
Yeah.
spacey sounding too.
I
They're
don't know.
toning that
I think
mellotron really
they're both
strangely.
pleasant. They're pretty.
Yeah.
What did y'all think about Exiles?
I
Is
thought
there like
Exiles.
an? Go ahead.
Oh, I'm
Hello?
sorry. I thought Exiles was a little more ominous.
Yeah,
Yes. Yes.
Slightly more little more,
Definitely.
just a little darker than Book of Saturday. I
y'all there?
really liked it. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Still here.
Can you hear us, Graham?
Graham.
Hello.
Yeah.
You can't hear
Have
anyone.
we lost him?
It sounds like it.
Uh-oh.
Yep. Just got a text from him.
We're
He's still
losing him.
he's still showing on
I know.
the Discord thing.
Let's see. He
Well,
just jumped back in. Here we go.
you there?
Do we have
Hello?
him back? I can hear you, Stefan. You hear me?
Oh yeah, you're coming in loud and clear.
Good.
I never lost you, by the way. Like I haven't had any issues.
Same. Well, I guess we'll press on until
Hello?
he gets back. There he is.
Okay, man. I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
I just couldn't hear anybody.
You were exiled.
Okay. Sorry.
Is there like an animal shrieking in Exiles? Was I hearing that correctly? I don't know what that was.
I
It wouldn't
I
surprise
didn't
me.
pick up on that. Yeah, me neither. I could completely see that.
Brett gently squeezing his cat.
Yes.
Wetton's singing has a slightly more kind of pained sound to it in this one. Still loving his voice though. I think he's great on this song.
Right.
Graham, you were saying you lump this and Book Saturday together. Could you want to expound a little on that?
I feel like they're both kind of ballads, for a lack of a better term. Like they're not the heavy rockers. I don't know. They're pleasant.
I think
They're
I
not.
liked Exiles better.
Yeah, it's quite a bit longer too. Like there's definitely more to it.
Epic.
Yeah, yeah. It's a long story, you know.
Yep.
It's kind of hard to like. I don't know, man. This album, like the opening and the closing track, holds such like a high. I don't know, man. Like they're just
In a
Do they
different league.
overshadow the rest of the album, do you think?
yes. I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
Not that I dislike the rest of the album. Like it's really nice, and
Yeah.
I mean the players are just amazing. Um, the drumming on Exiles is really nice.
Mm-hmm. I
Mhm.
like the lead tone in that. That's where I put buttery smooth.
Oh yes,
Just,
that
oh,
makes sense.
yep.
I know it's totally like all the treble is just rolled back, and
Yeah, gone.
it's like liquid.
Yeah, it really is. It's buttery smooth.
Yeah, Robert Fripp is a weird guitar player in that like he'll use kind of unconventional tones. His playing, like we heard in the first track, can be super ugly and abrasive, but it can also be, buttery smooth.
Mm-hmm.
It almost sounds kind of David Gilmour-ish.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
A very, very versatile player. Yeah, I would say this album, it can go from 0 to 10 pretty quickly. Like in terms, not in terms of quality, but just like softness and heaviness.
Yep.
Um,
Speed.
yeah, yeah. It
Yeah.
it goes everywhere.
It
Um,
does.
any more from you guys on Exiles or Book of Saturdays? Because that
Mm-mm.
covers the first side of the album.
Yep. I'm good to go to side B if y'all are.
Okay,
Let's do it. Easy money.
easy
Yep.
money.
Sounds like somebody wading through water.
Yeah.
There are some interesting sounds on this one for sure.
Got
Yeah.
some distorted guitar there, some bell chimes.
Yeah,
I like
yeah,
when the bass rolls in too. Super funky.
yeah. The percussionist kind of goes wild on this one.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yes, he does.
The song jams though. Dude,
Oh yeah,
I love it. I like there's a lot of guitar painting too here. I like this was super Floyd sounding to me
yes.
in a good way
Okay.
though.
Yeah.
I was hoping you were gonna say that because
Yeah.
I know Travis loves
Yeah.
the Floyd.
Oh yeah. Yep.
And
I
I feel
really
like
liked
it
that.
it kind of has that, the Floyd kind of funkiness.
Yeah. Yep.
And I couldn't really find anything on, who influenced who. I mean,
Sure.
I'm sure, King Crimson were probably into the early Floyd, because I think the first King Crimson album came out in '69.
Summer of.
And I don't even mean it as a punchline, but yeah, I think '69. Um,
Wow.
but yeah, it's kind of like and we were talking about Gentle Giant, and yes, but this was kind of like the beginning of prog rock, and you're just like, who came up with what, did this influence some Floyd stuff? Because I mean, I think it sounds kind of like Dark Side of the Moon, but that album came out in the same year.
Right.
But yeah, incredibly Floydy at times. Easy Money. Like this one also, I don't know if any of these songs got radio play, but I could see this one getting some. Even though it's almost 8 minutes long. But it kind of has, it's got a chorus. One thing I love is at the end of the song, the laughing.
Yeah. It's like a weird old lady with that like throaty chuckle thing.
That is so creepy.
Yeah, it is.
It sounds amazing too. Like it's
yeah.
sounds real.
Yes.
Or like it's some like, I don't know, like some toy or something.
Yeah. It's very odd sound effects.
Yeah.
Into the song. There's one that sounded like a cartoon bird almost, although I'm sure that's just a call. You get those Velcro sounds like 2 minutes in. It sounds like a zipper going up. Like this one was hard to get a beat on. I had to listen to this song more than any other thing on the album, even Larks Part 1.
Oh wow. Yeah, I mean, there's just all of these songs are just packed with so many little nuggets, man.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so just meandering and so all over. I mean, the whole album is, but this might be my favorite song on here, honestly. Although I'm not sure how I can really say that because it feels like my opinion changes just sitting here reading my notes.
Right.
That's that's a sign of a complex masterpiece.
I agree. That's effective art right there.
Yeah, I was gonna say that I think Easy Money might be my favorite of the like middle songs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah.
It's kind of got a, I don't know, after the chorus, after they sing the Easy Money thing, I feel like that bell sound is kind of funny.
Yeah.
Like
money
almost doesn't fit.
No. No.
Kind of like a little cartoon sound.
I did find myself laughing a lot while listening to this album, by the way.
Yeah.
There's like some insanity.
Like,
oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's out there.
Oh yeah.
The talking drum.
Phenomenal build up to start that one.
I like the wind sounds.
Yeah.
Really cool.
Yeah, it was.
Like some buzzing bee sounds in the distance.
Yeah.
Then the drums roll in, little violin or viola in the bass. It's intense. This is a dark sounding song.
It's all about that build up though.
And it has that kind of, I feel like I say this every album we listen to, but like an Eastern sounding vibe to it.
Yeah.
For sure.
That's accurate.
For sure. Reading the background of this album, it talks about one, the classical influence, and then the Eastern influence.
Okay.
That tracks for sure.
Yeah. This one, like, the build-up takes so long. Like, I feel like when I was listening to it, I was like, did the, song shut off? Because, like, it's so quiet in the beginning. And then it just keeps building and building and building and getting, like, I don't know, it almost, like, picks up speed, momentum. But I kind of see this one as kind of an interlude.
Yeah. That's probably a probably a good descriptor.
I like this one. I hated the screech at the end of it,
What
though. My
was that?
God.
Oh,
That was
jeez.
horrible. Like,
Is that
what?
the musical Saw? Maybe.
Maybe,
I don't
It
yeah.
know what
has
that.
to be.
I don't really know what that is or what that sounds like.
I thought it was like vocals for a sec, but I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. It's a tough listen, regardless.
Sure.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Sure. This is.
I'm looking at pictures of a musical Saw now, and it literally. I mean, it's probably what you're picturing if you're sitting here listening to it. It's like the violin bow, and then what looks like just a handsaw.
Yeah. This is a difficult album to talk about.
Yeah.
I'm as we stated before, but I'm just repeating it.
No, you're right, because like it's a you wouldn't think it just because there's so much in here, but then it is difficult because there's so much in here. Like it's hard to know where to. I mean, where do you even start talking about these songs? Like it's just
Yeah,
they're
it's really I don't know. It might be impossible to talk about.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
Without having the doctorate in musical theory
Yeah.
or something like
yeah,
that. But even then, like it's really unconventional. Um, I don't know if you can really put it in a box and be like, this is the part where they do this time signature or use this technique. Like it's kind of their own creation.
yeah, yep. It's kind of a genre unto itself.
Yeah,
I mean,
for
I don't
sure.
know what I when I recommend music, it helps to think of a band that I can compare them to. I can't think of anything for an album like this.
No, not really. I mean, I think Yes might have gotten the closest. I mean, in terms of these just giant like epics that almost are like classical pieces. Um, I think the band Yes on stuff like Close to the Edge and Fragile um, is probably the closest thing to this.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
at the same time, like this is its whole this is its own thing.
Yes. Yes, it is.
Quite ambitious.
Oh
No
yeah.
doubt.
Um, do y'all like Larks Part 1 or Part 2 better?
I wrote a
Um.
lot more on part 1 than I did
Yeah.
part 2, but
Yeah.
I mean they're both great in their own rights.
Part
Yeah.
1 part sorry, Part 2 I think is more straightforward. I mean it's complicated for sure, but like I feel like there are fewer parts.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Definitely. I love the bass and the guitar intro.
Oh
Just
yeah.
yeah, I mean this just has all the great essential elements of a good prog song.
Yeah.
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 It's
It's
insane drums, lots of dissonance, good jams,
yeah. It's a
waning
fat
intensity. Yeah, it's great. I loved it.
that is a fat sound at the beginning.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
I mean,
Yeah.
one of my favorite. I feel like you know guitar bass tone combos
Mhm.
probably.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I thought about Rush too. It reminds me a bit of. I want to say it's like Cygnus X
Mhm.
something. Like I can never keep those straight, but maybe that one off the Farewell to Kings album with really prominent bass. Like Geddy Lee had to have been a fan of this song.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Um, the ending of this one too. Um, just where pretty much every instrument in the universe starts playing.
Yeah, kind of perfect, honestly.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
really
because
is.
it's like, how do you, you know, figure out a finish that like suits something this giant and ambitious?
Yeah, I think they nailed it. You
Yeah,
know, like
yeah,
I can't pick one instrument. Let's just have them all.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
I think that's
Just bring everybody out for the credits.
yeah. Yeah.
Exactly.
Whole cast on stage. Let's
Right.
go.
Everybody now.
Yeah, I'd say it's a damn near perfect finish
Yeah,
to easily the most perplexing album that I've ever listened to in one sitting.
I'm really glad to hear that.
Yeah,
That's. I feel like when I picked this, that's what I was aiming and hoping for.
yeah.
I was like, I really hope this is an experience.
Oh,
It was.
you were spot on in your prediction.
And I feel like that's the thing with, prog rock. Like, I was really excited to do the Gentle Giant record, which I think came from Travis's list, right? Didn't you pick that one?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's right.
Octopus.
And that one's mind blowing in its own way, for sure. And I would put those two artists, like I said, kind of in a similar category, but
Yeah,
this is a totally different thing.
for sure.
Like, it's a bigger, more like epic sounding thing. Even though maybe individually the Gentle Giant members were more talented.
You think?
Um, it's really tough to say. Like,
Yeah.
I think that their songs could be more complex at times. Like, they do a lot of twists and turns. Like in the song "Boys in the Band" from Octopus, like it's intentionally just like just a chaotic mix of progressions and whatever. Like, it's kind of intentionally just like meant to be like mind blowingly complicated and hard to
Right.
follow. Like,
Intentionally ridiculous.
yeah, yeah. Um, but yeah, and any more on part two?
That's all I had on it.
Yeah. Same.
It's a strong closer.
No doubt.
Mm-hmm.
It's really heavy.
Yeah.
Um, words are failing me
No,
at
that's
this point in the conversation.
You're
no.
good, man.
You've been great. Thank you for kind of taking point on this one. I was really
Sure.
worried
I
about
All right.
I
going
I,
Here
through
we
this
go.
one.
I tried, man. It's I feel like it's a little bit out of my league, in terms. I mean, it's like talking if we were to talk about like Beethoven or something. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like it's kind of on that level of just mind blowing. But I'll just jump to it and say 9 out of 10. Very tempted to give it a 10 out of 10 just because of how much I love the bookending tracks.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10 because, I think Book of Saturdays and Exiles, um, they're not, I mean, they're nice songs, but they're not ones that I revisit often. Same with the Talking Drum.
Right.
I'm going to give it a 9.5, actually.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
I'm going to absolutely recommend it with the.
Hello?
We lost him.
Oh no. Oh, and he's on such a roll too.
He's going to recommend it. That's all we know.
Yes. Yes. I'm
Graham, are
not.
you there?
Hello? Is it me you're looking for?
Go ahead,
Oh,
Stefan.
dear.
Let's.
No, I almost cut him off myself there. I don't know how I'm gonna recommend this album.
I know, right?
I think I wanted to ask him if you're meeting someone who's curious about King Crimson. I mean, surely you don't recommend Larks Tongues for their first one, do you?
I know. Yeah, I feel like I'd probably start with In the Court.
Yeah.
Start at album 1, I guess. I don't know. But,
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like, you got to check out at least the opening track.
Definitely.
How would you rate it?
I was gonna say I'd give it a 9. I mean I'm poor Graham's trying to get
I
back
know.
on.
I know.
Yeah, I gotta be consistent on this. I mean, I love the weird stuff, and this is like in a different universe.
Oh, yeah.
Practically. So like I really enjoyed it. I think I would hold off on giving it a 10 though, because
Mm-hmm.
I'm still not entirely sure how I feel about every song. Like even
Right.
even the one that I kind of had in the placeholder of my favorite, Easy Money. Like I'm still kind of, it's still kind of sinking in the
I know. It's like, was
totality
it one of my
of this.
favorite? Yeah.
Yeah, and I can't.
I'm
I
back.
haven't. Oh, there he is.
I'm back.
Okay, good. I was
Man.
yeah. You good?
Yeah. I just having technical difficulties, I guess. But go on.
Yeah, no, I was just wrapping up. It's a 9 out of 10 for me. I don't know how I recommend this album. I just because like, unless you're just
Sure.
a massive prog fan, I guess. But like, we were touching on this a little bit. For someone who wants to get into King Crimson, this isn't the album you give them, is it? I mean, isn't there something else that's a little less overwhelming that you'd want to start them on?
Probably the Court of the Crimson King, the first one.
Okay.
They're kind of a good band to maybe go chronological with.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I don't love some of their early stuff, I would say definitely hit Court of the Crimson King. You could jump to this after that, or you could just go straight through. Like, it's worth hearing kind of how they evolve. And how they got from that to this. But yeah, Court of the Crimson King is an all-time classic for sure.
Okay.
I would probably recommend that for this, but I'd still recommend this.
All right.
Travis, what was your? Did you give it a score already?
I did not, but I think I'd give it a 9 out of 10 as well.
Yep.
Cool.
I would. I really enjoyed it. It is a lot to digest on one listen. That's for darn sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I mean, I didn't get bored at all.
Right.
So that's great. Didn't feel like it dragged on anywhere, anything like
No, not at all.
that. Yeah, and I mean, there's enough variety here, I think, for it to be. I mean, I'm not going to say it's accessible. It's pretty unique, but I think people who might not be into this may surprisingly enjoy it.
Yeah.
It is really difficult to recommend super proggy things, but I mean, not difficult to recommend them. It's difficult to recommend them specifically to groups, I would say.
Sure.
But yeah, I loved it. Check it out. See if it's your thing.
Yeah.
You'll know very quickly after the first track.
If you like classical music,
Yeah.
you might be into it.
The thing I think that's so cool though about King Crimson in general and this is like it pulls in some metal guys. You know what I mean?
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like I could see them not necessarily liking Yes or Gentle Giant, but it's like there's a heaviness about King Crimson. Just enough to, I think, kind of pull that audience in.
Agreed. I've thought I've thought that too. They're kind of the heaviest of the
Yeah.
big prog bands.
Just big sound.
Oh yeah,
For sure.
But yeah, very, very glad I listened to this one.
I'm glad y'all enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I was excited.
I can see why.
Yeah, man. Well,
yeah. I mean, God. I mean, we got to end it sometime. So yeah, might as well. If you're still with us, check out Larks, Tongues, and Aspic. Both parts, whole album. You won't forget it.
yes.
If you're, if you have an album you'd like us to review, go leave it in the comments. We will add it to our ever expanding list. As always, like the episode, share it around on your social media platforms, subscribe to our channel so that you will get a heads up when we get back at you with another episode, which is coming real soon. So come back to see us. We are 3 different ones, and we'll see you next time.